Hello there, this is the Shadow Ranger, and I am here to do a response video. This is a response to J Hobson 623's video, WWE-TNA Talk 4911. He just asked for people to respond to some of the questions he pointed out in the video. I'm going to try to answer as many of them as I can. I'm probably not going to be able to answer them all because I didn't take notes during the video to write down all the questions. And I don't want to rewatch it just to get all the questions. So I'm just going to answer as many as I can remember. Yes, WWE is going to need to build up somebody to take on The Undertaker. You could probably get away with one more Triple H match, but you know, this was the thing I was thinking going in. You know, Undertaker just came off of beating Shawn Michaels twice at Mania, and then this year he beat Triple H. So who the hell do you put against him next year? You know, I would have said Cena. Like, there's really nobody else you're gonna build up to be believable. The thing with it is, it's got to be somebody believable. You know, people talked about like how Wade Barrett was supposed to face Taker at WrestleMania this year, but it wasn't believable. If Shawn Michaels couldn't do it in 2 tries, Wade Barrett ain't got a shot. So that's a really tough question. Who is big enough that you can put against Taker next year that will be believable? Now, I would have said Cena, but if they really are gonna do John Cena versus The Rock, then that's out. Who else you got left? Orton? I mean, seriously, when I look at the people that you could build up as big enough that people would want to see it, I would have said John Cena or Sting. Them the only 2 people that we want to see enough. We all still want to see Taker versus Sting one time, and hopefully that we might get that shot. But that's gonna be a issue. Who can you build up big enough to be believable? Maybe in the next year The Miz can be big enough. I could buy that. He's close to that, to where if you put the Miz against Taker next year, I'll buy that. Sin Cara's first program, he came out on Raw. He went after Sheamus, so I thought, okay, he's going straight for the U.S. title. But then he comes out on SmackDown and goes after Swagger, who doesn't have a belt, so that kind of threw me off. I think they tease it for a couple more weeks until somebody calls him out. I think Sin Cara's first real match will be somebody calling him out and jobbing to him. It'll probably be Zack Ryder, because for some reason they won't put Zack Ryder on TV when everybody freaking loves him. But you know, that's a tough question. I don't know if I can answer who his first program is going to be. Let me see what he does on Monday, and then I'll probably try to come back and answer that question. Are they really going to do Cena versus Rock a year in advance? Why the hell not? It's in Miami next year. That's where that was like Rock's hometown. Put him in the Hall of Fame the night before. Big send-off. Yeah, it works. Let's see. I'm not sure what's going on with the youth movement, because you know, Daniel Bryan and Sheamus get bumped off the main show. The core gets destroyed in less time than Jeff Hardy. The Miz won, but he looked like a chump in the process. I mean, as far as all the young talent go, I mean, which of the young talents really looked good? Cody Rhodes is the only one. I thought they made Cody look great at WrestleMania. His match was great. You know, I think it was maybe second best match of the night. I think, you know, Triple H and Taker was the best match, but they were number 2. They made Cody look great. They prolonged the feud. I thought Cody looked fantastic. So, problem with the youth movement is that so many of these youth movement guys are boring. You know, I've said this before, but man, you know, Daniel Bryan is boring. Swagger is boring. John Morrison is boring. McIntyre is boring. These dudes are dull as dirt. Cody Rhodes the only one that's interesting. I think that's why. You know, he's it goes back to what I always say about the importance of characters above wrestling ability. That the reason why Cody Rhodes was in a match, beat a legend at WrestleMania, and John Morrison was relegated to shitty snooky match. Swagger was Michael Cole's corner man. Daniel Bryan was in the Dark Wonder show, and Ted Jr. and some of these other guys weren't even on the show at all. It's because Cody has an interesting character. He has an interesting character that makes him stand out. I mean, the pretty boy gimmick has been done before. He's kind of doing Narcissus Prince. That's from a video game on the Super Nintendo, Super Punch Out. They has this one boxer in the game is the Narcissus Prince, and where his whole thing is he always blocks his face, and then when you finally hit him in the face, he goes like badass for a minute, where he goes like a rage mode and just starts throwing big heavy knockout punches at you if you hit him in the face. But Cody's kind of doing that. You damaged his face, so now I'm going to destroy you. Kind of makes me think of Vega from Street Fighter. He got his face mask on and everything to protect his face now. But anyway, Cody actually has an interesting character. He actually is different from all the rest of these youth movement guys. And I think the best thing they could have done for that kid's career is to do that. Take that whole thing where the Divas voted him the most handsome wrestler and turn it into a new gimmick, Dash and Cody Rhodes. That saved that dude's career. I think he'd been featured in Endeavors by now if they hadn't come out their gimmick. And I'm like, the rest of you dudes need to learn. Find yourself a gimmick that separates you. John Morrison, get a real gimmick. I like your slow motion pyro thing, but what else you got? You got a cool entrance and wrestle like you're the X Division champion. I heard John Morrison might be on his way out anyway. I remember reading a lot of reports about him saying that he was rude to Trish Stratus and he doesn't get a lot of respect in the locker room. Hell, if they don't want him in WWE, he might as well just leave and go to TNA. Like I said, he wrestles every match like he's the fucking X Division champion. He might as well go to TNA and try to actually win the belt. Excuse me. The rest of these dudes, Daniel Bryan, get a gimmick. Drew McIntyre, get a real gimmick. All you, Ted Jr., get a gimmick. I thought you was gonna do something with the $1 million title and kind of being like your dad, but do something, man. Y'all not gonna last if y'all don't get yourself a gimmick. Y'all need characters. Yes, you guys are all good wrestlers, but god damn it, you boring. You are so boring. Cody isn't boring. That's why he beat a legend at Mania. The Miz isn't boring. That's why he was in the main event. Ziggler would be in the same boat if he didn't have Vicky Guerrero to get his heat for him. But Vicky can get anybody heat. You take Vicky away from Dolph Ziggler, he's just as boring as the rest of them. So he better get on the ball too, because they might decide to split him from Vicky. Because those two are only put on Raw so John Cena can beat him somewhere down the line. Really, those are just people built up. Vicky Guerrero is the next is just one of the dragons for John Cena to slay. And he can't wrestle Vicky, so Dolph's just gonna be the body they put in the ring, so John Cena can feud with Vicky Guerrero. Let's see. Anything else I want to say about the WWE topic? Now let's move on. TNA real quick. Winter doing the weird thing, we've had the mind control kind of stuff before. Undertaker had the Ministry of Darkness. Raven had the Flock in WCW. The whole putting stuff in the drink kind of takes it too far. I think it should have been just Winter having some kind of hold over Angelina. And the question is, where do they go with Velvet? Do they have a match at Lockdown? Because Mickie James is injured and they did the angle of them on Impact this week where Madison tried to run Mickie down with the motorcycle. Maybe they use it to write her off TV. If Mickey's not gonna be able to wrestle at Lockdown, I say do Madison, Velvet, and Winter, and use the tension between Velvet and Winter for Madison to get the cheat win and keep the belt. I think it's the best thing storyline wise. Madison shouldn't be losing the belt right now. She shouldn't be losing the belt to Mickie, not just yet. I'm gonna talk about that. I'll probably do that video later today. I'm gonna do a fantasy booking video today, and I'll go in more in depth on that stuff. But I don't have a problem with. We've seen mind control storylines before. At some point, Winter gets her payback, and Velvet gets her revenge, saves Angelina. At some point, they're gonna have to do a Velvet versus Angelina match. I think they might do that at Lockdown. Velvet Sky versus Angelina Love. You know what I really liked was that promo Velvet did last week, where he was talking about how, the beautiful people, we said we cleanse the world one ugly person at a time. I've always said when they turn the beautiful people to faces, that they have to use that cleanse the world thing and talk about it as instead of outer beauty, start talking about inner beauty, that you're ugly, we're cleansing you because you're ugly on the inside. And I like them using that word cleanse. That's their phrase of defeating someone, cleansing them. And I think that's kind of, I like that. And then they have to do a good promo with Velvet saying that that she's good that we're supposed to cleanse the world one ugly person at a time, and I've never seen anybody as ugly as Winter, so I'm gonna cleanse her and save Angelina, and say something like, she had to have like a dramatic moment in the promo where she says something like, if I can't save Angelina, I'll cleanse her too. That would get it over really cool. If I can't save her, I'm gonna have to destroy her. I think people will really get into that. Tag team titles. Who's to challenge Beer Money for the tag titles next? British Invasion is back. Ink Inc is back. OJ and EY are doing their thing together, just as kind of the jobber tag team, so you're not gonna see a whole lot of them doing anything. Gunner's got the TV title, so I don't know what they're gonna leave for him teaming with Murphy for a while. They might just move away from that. I could see Bully Ray and Abyss going for it maybe once or twice. That's a possibility. But I can see Immortal just costing Beer Money the belts and British Invasion getting them back. I could go with that. I'd probably like to see British Invasion challenge Beer Money next. X Division title, I could get into Kazarian versus Matt Hardy once or twice. I think that would be a fun match to see. You're talking about the whole Machine Guns thing. I was wondering how come, if they had teased a split between the Guns after they lost the belts to Beer Money, but they dropped that, and then they just said on Impact this week the Guns have decided to put focus on the X Division for a little bit. So they saved the Guns so that they could put the Guns back together. They killed them any type of breakup storyline. So they're just gonna have them split for a little bit and go focus on the X Division a bit, and then they can put them back in the tag team division later. Which I think this is a mistake. I think they should be focusing on the tag team division more than the X Division. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think the X Division has become a detriment to TNA. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make that a separate video. I'm not going to talk about that in this video, but I'm going to do a separate video where I talk about the X Division title and my issues with the fans and their love of the X Division. But I have to ask the question, why are they doing a breakup storyline with Generation Me? Why not do the same with Generation Me? They want to focus on the X Division a little bit and have them to bring back together. It seems like they're trying to save they're revitalize the X Division at the expense of their tag team division. It's like they're gonna destroy a really good tag team division just to get the X Division back. Fuck that. I want the tag teams back. Fuck the X Division. If that's the choice, if you can do both, do both. But if that's my choice, if your option is the only way we can beef up the X Division is to break up tag teams and kill our tag team division, I say fuck the X Division. Give me tag teams. Fuck that. That I gotta say I disagree with that. I want the tag team, the great tag team division back. I can do without the X Division. But I'll throw out a couple ideas, and I don't think you need to. And really, you don't need to be splitting up tag teams just to beef up the X Division. Fucking, where's Brian Kendrick? Where's Amazing Red? Where's Jay Lethal? You got. I mean, Kazarian's your X Division champion. You got Robbie E for a while, even though I don't think he should really be in the X Division, but he can stall there for a little while. EY can do some X Division stuff, fine. You got Amazing Red, you got Jay Lethal, you got Suicide, you got Okada. If you can kill this stupid shit with Samoa Joe. I mean, I remember reading they said they did this Okada thing because they feel like they have to use Okada because this is to keep their relationship with his company in Japan going well. I'm like, fine, put him in the X Division. Or how about this? How about put Kiyoshi and Okada together and let them be a tag team, come up with a decent name for them, and let them tag up. They tagged those two together on Explosion once a couple months ago. Excuse me. And they were actually a pretty fun team to watch. Get them some nice matching gear, come up with a name for them, let them team up. Instead, you get Okada, which is useless. Put Okada in the X Division. Bam, that's plenty of X Division guys. You really only need like 7 dudes in the X Division, and you can stall until you bring in some new stuff. Wouldn't they like saying they giving dudes tryouts to bring into the X Division for a while and stuff? I don't know. As crowded as the TNA, it's so weird. As crowded as the TNA roster is, how is it they always seem to need more people? That's what I can't figure out. Their roster is overcrowded, yet they always seem to need more people. But again, fuck the X Division. Keep the tag teams going well. I think Matt Hardy versus Kazarian would be good for the a good feud for the X Division title, just to keep up the ongoing Fortune versus Immortal feud. Actually, I'm gonna do another video where I talk about that and why I actually would have Matt Hardy beat Kazarian for the X Division title, although he would only be champion for 1 day before anybody craps on it. Before you even see the video, he'll only be champ for 1 day though. The network, I think the network should be revealed to be Dixie Carter, and with Mick Foley sort of as guiding her. Dixie Carter owns stock in the network now, and so she's been using that power to screw with Hogan and Bischoff, and she's had Foley next to her, telling her advice on what to do to screw him over, and they can lead that up to like a big winner take all match. Dixie could put up her shares of her in the network, her partial ownership in the network against Hogan and Bischoff's ownership of TNA. Winner takes all. That's why I prefer to see this be. I'd rather see that than them try to introduce someone new with it. Looking forward to Lockdown with Victory Road ending the way it did, and so many people being disappointed with WrestleMania. Lockdown, really, that's 2 big reasons that Lockdown needs to be a great pay-per-view. And I think they can pull it off. Hopefully, if they get the on-demand thing working well, I heard they got it set up right so you can use it anywhere in the world. And if it is set up fine now, I'm going to order Lockdown online and watch it online. This is going to be one of their pay-per-views on the road. It's going to be in Cincinnati, so it's out of the Impact Zone. That always adds to the pay-per-views. Excuse me again. What else was I going to say? The network. Oh, the only thing that's kind of odd is, why is Flair in Lethal Lockdown? Shouldn't Gunner be in that spot? Gunner's an immortal. He's the television champion. If he's going to be the champion, we need to start seeing more of him. The guy clearly has talent. He's clearly a good wrestler. I mean, he hadn't had a whole lot of TV time, but with the little TV time he's had, he's shown that he's decent in the ring. He was hilarious on Impact, when Hogan told him to slap the piss out of those two. I edited that clip out, and I done watched it like 15 times. It is hilarious. Matter of fact, here it is right now.
Champ, slap the piss out of those two. My pleasure. Yeah.
Wasn't that great? I could watch it over and over. Matter of fact, watch it again. One more time.
Champ, slap the piss out of those two. My pleasure. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that scene. I think that's about all I can remember you asking in the video. Yeah, that's all I can remember, Jay Hobson. If I had enough sense to take notes and type out your questions as I listened to the video, I would have been able to answer them more, but I'm just kind of too lazy to go back and rewatch the whole video to type out all the questions. So, and plus I'm already at 20 minutes anyway with just what I answered. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I got another video coming up in a little while from now. About the Immortal storyline I want to speak on. So look out for that later today. Also, I only got one question so far. I want to do another Q&A. I need 4 more good questions. My last video was 30 minutes long and I did 10 questions. So I want to shorten that by just doing 5 questions for the next Q&A. I only have 1 question now. So anybody sees this video wants to send me a question or 2, let me know. Once I get 5 good questions, I'll do a next Q&A. Unless somebody sends me one really, really good question, then I'll do it as a separate request video. Alright, that's all for now. This is the Shadow Ranger. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.